as they say, here we go again. You don't really know what you're missing till it's gone, or don't know what you have until it's gone. And I think, it's funny. I was talking to Stevie Ray, WWE Hall of Famer Stevie Ray, just about an hour ago, actually, and we were talking about Silver King. And two things came out of that conversation. One is, from my perspective at least, the luchadors, that whole crew that came out of Mexico and were such a vital, important part of Nitro, they never really got the credit. Everybody loved them. They loved the cruiserweight division. But I think fans should know that Silver King and a lot of the luchadors that came into WCW around that time, I think were really way more responsible for the success of Nitro and giving Nitro the ability, and WCW the ability to outperform the WWF at that time, now WWE, than they were ever given credit for, including by me, by the way.
How should the wrestling world remember Silver King?
What I hope for is that Silver King, along with so many of the other luchadors, really are recognized for breaking through and being the catalyst for, a pop culture kind of phenomenon here in the United States that almost everybody is familiar with now. 25 years ago, nobody knew, outside of California, very few people knew what, Lucha Libre was. And now anybody that's a wrestling fan can tell you, who some of the biggest stars are, not only here in the United States, but around the world. So I think I'd like Silver King to be recognized for that. But I also, when Stevie Ray and I were talking earlier today, sharing, memories. And one of the things that we both said, I literally took the words out of his mouth while he was taking them out of mine, is that Silver King was one of those people that when you saw him backstage, he always had a smile on his face. He was always happy to be right where he was. And I don't necessarily mean in WCW working for me, but I mean surrounded by his peers and people that he'd known for such a long time. And being in the wrestling business in general, he loved the business. He loved what he was doing. And unlike a lot of performers, and we all know some who have a chip on their shoulder or a little bit crabby about things sometimes, Silver King was one of those guys that every time you looked at him, he was smiling. Whether he was standing in the corner by himself getting ready for a match or whether he was hanging out with some of his friends, he always had a smile on his face and he loved what he did. And I'd like him to be remembered for that, as well as being, one of the forerunners and bringing Lucha Libre to pop culture here in the United States.